It really feels like artificial intelligence is just everywhere these days, doesn't it? I mean, from ChatGPT writing entire essays to algorithms that know exactly what song you want to hear next, AI has totally exploded. It went from a sci-fi idea to something we use every single day. But how does it actually work? Is it really intelligent? That's what we're going to figure out.
And that right there is the big question we're tackling today. We're going to pull back the curtain, take a peek inside the so-called magic box, and get to the heart of what's really going on when an AI spits out an answer. So let's get into it. All right, first up, let's just set the stage a little. The idea of AI isn't new at all. I mean, people have been working on it in research labs for decades. But something shifted recently. A specific kind of AI, called generative AI, just took off like a rocket. And honestly, it's changing the game for pretty much all of us.
Okay, to really get a handle on all this, we need to get our vocabulary straight. You've probably heard terms like AI, machine learning, and deep learning getting thrown around, sometimes like they all mean the same thing. They don't, and understanding the difference is actually super important. So let's break it down.
So let's start with the big one, artificial intelligence, or AI. Think of this as the huge, all-encompassing umbrella. This is the original dream, going way back to the 1950s. The grand idea of creating machines that can simulate human intelligence. You know, the ability to learn, to reason, to figure things out. It's the whole field of study.
Now, tucked under that giant AI umbrella, you've got machine learning. This is where things get really interesting. See, instead of a programmer writing out explicit step-by-step rules for every possible scenario, you just feed the machine a mountain of data and let it figure out the patterns for itself. It learns on its own. It's a really powerful way to achieve AI.
And if we go one level deeper, we find deep learning. This is like a supercharged, specialized version of machine learning that uses something called neural networks. It's kind of inspired by the human brain. Imagine one layer of the network spots basic things like lines and colors. The next layer puts those together and recognizes a face or car. The next layer sees the whole scene. That's basically what a neural network does, but with data. And this, right here, is the engine behind so many of the crazy breakthroughs we're seeing today.
So you see how it all fits together, right? You've got the big idea of AI, then machine learning as a way to do it, and deep learning as a powerful engine inside of that. But this didn't happen overnight. You can see here, back in the 80s, AI was mostly an academic thing. Then, in the 2010s, machine learning really started to take off. And that set the stage for right now, the 2020s, with this absolute explosion of generative AI, built on these massive foundation models that can be adapted for all sorts of different tasks.
Okay, so we've got the terms down, but this is where we get to the real secret, the core of how all this modern AI actually works. And I have a feeling it might surprise you because it kind of challenges the whole idea that these things can think.
This is the single most important thing to understand. What we're calling AI today, it isn't intelligence the way you and I think of it. At its heart, it is a prediction engine. That's it. Whether it's predicting the next word in a sentence, the next chord in a song, or the next frame in a video, it all boils down to one simple job, making a prediction.
Let's make this really, really simple. Say you ask an AI to complete this sentence, "The sky is." Now, an AI doesn't have eyes. It can't look out a window. It has no concept of sky or the color blue. So what on earth does it do?
It does math. That's the secret. It's been trained on just an unimaginable amount of text and books and articles from the internet. And based on all that data, it calculates the statistical probability of what the next word should be. It just knows that in billions of examples, the word that comes after "the sky is blue" about 47% of the time. It's just playing the odds, but at an incredible speed.
And this is really the key takeaway from all of this. The AI has absolutely zero idea what it's saying. There's no understanding, no consciousness, no meaning. It is just an incredibly sophisticated pattern-matching machine predicting the most likely next piece of the puzzle, one word at a time.
So now that we've popped the hood and seen that it's basically a prediction engine, let's talk about the real world. Where do we actually see this technology in action? And maybe more importantly, what are the big problems we really need to watch out for?
The honest answer is, it's pretty much everywhere, often in ways we don't even think about. It's the reason your social media feed feels so addictive. It's helping banks decide who gets a loan. It's the brains behind Siri and Alexa. And in medicine, it's getting seriously good. Some AI models can now spot certain cancers on a scan even more accurately than a trained human radiologist. This stuff is already woven into the fabric of our world. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch. You've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? Well, that's AI in a nutshell. And AI is only as good or as bad as the data we train it on. If that data has human biases baked into it, and it almost always does, the AI will learn those biases and amplify them. It doesn't know any better. It just knows the patterns it was shown.
And then you have this other weird issue called the black box problem. The crazy thing is, sometimes even the people who build these AIs don't know exactly why it made a particular choice. There was this famous case where an AI was trained to identify wolves, but it kept messing up and calling husky dogs wolves. It took forever to figure out why. Turns out, in almost all the training photos, the wolves had snow in the background. The AI hadn't learned to identify a wolf, it had just learned to identify snow.
So, with all that in mind, where does this leave us? Well, it frames the future of AI not as some runaway Terminator-style machine, but as an incredibly powerful tool. A tool where human choices and human responsibility are more important than they have ever been.
And it is so important to understand this one last distinction. Everything we have today, and I mean everything, from ChatGPT to self-driving cars, is what we call weak AI or narrow AI. It's designed to be really good at one specific task. The whole sci-fi idea of a truly conscious, human-like intelligence or strong AI, that's still purely theoretical. It does not exist.
And that really brings us to the final, and I think the most important point of all. As this technology gets more and more powerful, the conversation really has to change. It becomes less about the technical stuff and more about our values as people. The most important question isn't what our computers can do, but what we decide they should do. And that right there is the challenge and the responsibility that's facing all of us.